I'd say probably since the age of 16. I had just stopped going to church and I had stopped kind of believing. I'd lost my faith. I hadn't completely stopped believing, but I had just lost my faith for whatever reason. As you get older and you obviously meet people and um, just have lots of different experiences, you start to learn a lot of different things. And I felt like I was encountering a lot of very judgmental Catholic people, and I didn't like that. I thought, aren't you not supposed to be judgmental? Um, and so instead of really trying to figure it out, I just got away from it. So, anyways, lots of doubt. And actually, there's a movie called Angels and Demons, if you haven't seen it, great movie, where Tom Hanks says that he doesn't understand God and that he hasn't yet received the gift of faith. And when I watched that movie about a year ago and I heard that line, I had to rewind and listen to it again because I was like, man, that's how I feel. Like, I just don't understand it. It's like so big. I just don't get it. And then on top of that, I don't think that I've received the gift of faith. I just don't understand. I don't have that faith. So, anyways, let's go 4 months ago, I think it was. I was at an event of a friend of mine's in Ave Maria, and Jose walks in, and I thought, hey, that kid looks cool. We started talking, and he explains that he's a Focus missionary. He explains what Focus is, and of course I'm like, oh, missionary. I knew the missionaries were in town. I hadn't met any yet. And I'm thinking, oh, these people are going to be like, hallelujah all the time and just like, totally judgmental because then here I am judging, ironically. And he totally wasn't. He was super open-minded and just like listened to all of my doubts and um, then combated all of the things that I had to say with the word of Jesus, really. And I thought, man, he's like so secure in what he's saying, and I don't know. I don't know. I still wasn't sold, but I was somewhat impressed, and I was like, you know what, though? This is the first time in a long time that I have encountered, a Catholic person who I've sat down with and had a conversation with that didn't make me feel like I was being judged, and that was big. We have dinner just one more time and discuss, God and everything one more time, and something started to click. He said, oh, the first time that we hung out, I forgot to end our night in prayer. We got to make sure we end our night in prayer today. And I was like, I haven't prayed in like a million years. No, don't make me do that. And so then I expect him to lead us in the prayer, obviously. And he's like, no, you're leading us. And I was like, no, I'm not. So we argue about it for like 2 minutes. And he tells me, listen, we're sitting in my car. I'm dropping him off back at the dorms. And he goes, just look at that stop sign in front of us and just pretend it's Jesus and talk to him. And I thought, well, that's genius. He figured me out. I like to talk, so I guess that I can do that. So I did that, and it felt really good to just be honest and say, I don't even know what I'm saying, really, but I want to understand. Help me understand, please. And him and his friend, him being Jose, not Jesus, and his friend Buster had both said to me, oh, you're so close. You're like right there to having your encounter. And I'm like, how do they know? Like, I'm just going to have this moment and they can just tell. And they're like, you can just tell when someone's like looking for it and they want it. And, well, they were right. So anyways, I dropped him off. I talked to the stop sign Jesus first. It was awesome. We prayed and I, thanked him because I was like, man, without like having met him, I wouldn't be going through this. And this is kind of cool. And as I'm driving away, I just start crying and I'm like, what is happening? I'm like literally overwhelmed with emotion. And I didn't really know what to make of it. And I just like went home and prayed more. And by praying, I just talked. I just talked to the ceiling a whole lot. And then I fell asleep. And I thought, man, I need to start going back to church. And so the next weekend, a friend invited me to Key Largo for the weekend. And it was awesome. And on my way back on Sunday, I left earlier than everybody because I thought, I have to stop and go to church somewhere. I just feel it. I have to go. So I stopped at this church in Pembroke Pines, Florida. And I just Googled it. It had a good time for me to get there. It was great. And the priest was awesome. Like, the church was beautiful. And it wasn't like super traditional Catholic. And the priest like actually got off the altar for the homily and was like walking up and down the aisles and like preaching, but like not like totally like crazy yelling in your face, but like passionate. And I wish I remembered. This was only 2 months ago. Shows how good my memory is. I'm an old woman. It was like every single hymn and every single reading was like, it was all about coming home. Jesus calling you back. And I was like, of course I would choose after like a bajillion years to come back to church on the day that these are the readings. I mean, yeah, I hear you, God, I hear you. So that was great. I immediately called my dad. I was like, I'm so excited. And he's like, I'm so excited too. And it was just cool. And then I remember texting Jose and being like, dude, I just did this. I'm so excited. I'm like, I can't like stop talking about it with people. And like, I don't know, it just felt right. It just felt good. And I was like, okay, I feel like I'm like on a good path here. But I knew, and I'm pretty impatient actually. In my stop sign Jesus prayer, Jose laughed because I was the last part of it. I was like, listen, I'm also really impatient because you just make this encounter happen fast. I literally every night just ask God to continue to open my heart and help me understand. To help me understand as best he can, because I'm still not fully there. And I know I could get closer. But what's unbelievable to me is that even though I still have a little bit of doubt, because I have learned, without doubt, there is no faith. It's not possible. They go hand in hand in a weird way. He still answers my prayers. Like, I pray every night, and the things that I pray about, the intentions, the special intentions that I pray for, actually start to happen. And I'm like in awe about it. And my mom's going through this journey at the same time as me. And we're both like, oh my gosh, this is unbelievable. And coincidentally, as I pray more and as I feel like my faith is strengthening, I have been like the happiest person on earth. Like, everybody says it. They're like, oh my gosh, like you just like, your life is awesome, huh? And I'm like, it is. I don't know. My life is just great. I'm just constantly in a great mood. And I mean, I just have no one to thank but God for that, of course. But I really can't thank Jose enough, and Focus for opening my eyes. And I want to thank Buster too, because Buster, even though there was only that one conversation, you struck me if you're watching this. As soon as I understood the Focus mission, I joined a support team, and I currently do support because I feel like it's a really important mission. And let me tell you, as a struggling, starving artist, I'm a photographer. Anybody needs pictures taken, please call me. Con los terroristas. Harlem Shake.